Hello again, everybody. Wow. If you're watching on video, I got one hair just really sticking up straight to the sky. If you're not watching on video, you probably will get to it. Okay, so welcome to another edition, another episode, whatever you want to call it, of Behind the Visual with Mark Hansen. I am, of course, Mark Hansen. I'm your host. I'm an advertising and lifestyle photographer. This is the podcast that talks to you about all the images and videos you see out in your world every single day. And today I am talking to the really cool, really fun to talk to, Jen Maresca. She is an artist and she's a producer at Harrison Star. I'm going to put all her links in the little description there so you can check out her website and check out her art. This chick has got a lot going on. Jen is really cool. She's a makeup artist at a funeral home occasionally, is what she was doing on the side for a while, on top of working at Harrison Star. She's also a really great artist. She has some great stories about some castings with feet. If you want to learn what it's like to cast feet for an ad campaign. She also talks about a deceased who came in and needed a nose because their nose was gone and how she handled that. And just some use of bubble wrap for a shoot as well. All kinds of really cool stuff. I mean, we talk about a really cool collection of things she has at her house that involve bones. So check this one out. I think you guys are really going to like it. I enjoyed the hell out of it. So let me know what you think. Like it, thumbs up it, all that kind of stuff. But definitely let me know what you think about this one. I thought it was really fun. I like your room there. I like the gray.
Oh,
all that. It's really
thank
nice.
you.
And
Yeah.
the skull. That's cool.
Yes, I collect skulls.
Do you really?
I do.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I would go to, I mean, when things were open, I would go to these oddity flea markets. And they would have them in Brooklyn and just around the Five Borough area. And I would visit, they would have drinks and they would make it like a whole seminar thing. And you would go to different booths and they would have all sorts of things. They would have taxidermy, they would have bones, they would have old medical kits and just other antique stuff. And I just started to collect it. And I have a number of all animal bones. I do have one human bone. Yes. I have a human collarbone, and then I have a ton of just raccoons and
raccoon bones.
A couple. Yes, I have a raccoon skull, and then I have a couple deer skulls and a horse one too, and a bear.
Wow.
So I have developed quite the collection.
I was going to say you have. Where do you keep them all?
I have kind of bookshelves over here where I just keep them on display. Okay. And then I have a little cabinet where I designed this cabinet to go around my TV, and it has some shelves, and I inserted some LED lighting just to kind of display them. So they're not really in your face when you come into the apartment, but they're there.
Have you ever taken one of these skulls or the bones and put in somebody's bed that's visiting and just wait to see what happens?
I have not. No, people are usually either really interested or really weirded out. So I have not done that now.
Yeah, I'd have done that immediately. If my brother came to spend the night or something, I'd have taken one of those skulls and stuck it right in the bed or the collarbone and put it in there.
Oh, totally. There's this one skull on my mantle back there that people really think is a real human skull.
Yeah.
But it's so close. And I mean, I could tell it's fake just because I've been collecting this kind of stuff for so long. But most people that will come over for drinks or whatever, they're just like, is that real? And I'm like, I'll just play along sometimes. I'm like, yeah, it's real.
My ex-boyfriends.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. That's a good one to say. Yeah. Gets him every time.
They found the rest of him, but they couldn't find his head. Because I had it. Well, thank you for doing this. I appreciate you agreeing to do it.
Yeah.
Do you know Maria Avitabile?
I do.
Yeah, she recommended you.
She's awesome. I follow her on Instagram, and we kind of talk, we chat back and forth. And she's really great.
Yeah, I
So
met her doing this podcast, and now she's my agent. So
nice. That's
it's
awesome.
weird how it all happened. Yeah,
Yeah,
probably
definitely.
the only good thing that came out of COVID
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah, definitely like the online friendships that I build. And I think I might have had her I might have had her in the agency when I would do like portfolio reviews
Yeah,
for the art directors. And I think we just kind of like built a connection from there. So she's good. She's awesome.
yeah, she's really nice. I like her a lot. Yeah,
Yeah.
it'd be nice to actually meet her in person someday, because
Yes. Yes,
just
definitely.
instead of just video.
I know.
So how'd you end up being a producer? I mean, so obviously you're an artist, because I saw your website and really cool stuff, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. So tell me about that whole like, and I want to know about the funeral home, but let's start with the artist thing,
Yes.
and go from
Yes.
there. So the artist, producer, all that.
Yeah, I have gotten into so many different creative careers over the time span of my career. So I actually got into producing. I used to do makeup on shoots, and I had experience kind of planning stuff, planning events and things like that on my resume already from different companies. And then they liked that I was a makeup artist for shoots and that I had some sort of experience on shoots.
Yeah.
But actually, the way I found out about the job was my dad freelanced for Harrison and Starr. So he was like, hey, there's a job opening, and I know that you've been kind of thinking about looking into planning shoots rather than doing makeup for it. And over the time span of me doing shoots, I like have met producers, and I was just like, this seems like a really fun job. And I kind of always want to just try something new. And I think I was at the time just getting bored with what I was doing and just wanted to venture out. So he told me about it. I don't think they knew that I was his daughter. I don't think he told the team, but he was just like, send your resume in and see what happens. And they called me for an interview, and I guess they really liked me in the interview. And
Yeah.
I was like super excited to get it. And they offered me the job, and I started out as an apprentice. So, and I kind of built my way up from there.
How long did that take?
Actually, it didn't really take that long. I once I got the apprenticeship, they signed me on full time within a couple months.
Oh, wow.
So I became junior, and that was about 5 years ago, and now I'm senior. So
All right.
yeah.
That's very cool. Do you travel much?
Um,
Or did you travel much?
I not initially.
Wow.
No, I think the farthest I've gone to was like Philly for a shoot. Um, which I loved. I like to travel because the thing
Yeah.
is I didn't really get the opportunity to do that beforehand. Um, I was kind of a late bloomer with traveling, so I looked at the job as an opportunity to kind of, travel by myself and see what's out there and have the opportunity to do so. But before everything kind of went down last year, I didn't get
Yeah.
the chance to go anywhere too far. So
Okay. Yeah. My daughter she wants to travel, and she wants a job where she can get paid to travel. And
yeah.
we were talking about producer, and I was like, that might be a job, maybe that you could end up traveling at some point.
And pharma producing, I think, especially for her, she wants to get her, foot in the door and kind of get her feet wet with producing.
Yeah.
Pharma is really good for that because it's not as hectic as doing it for TV or
Yeah.
video and things like that. Like producing for pharma is it's a little bit more laid back in the sense of um, the amount of responsibilities that would be
Right.
on her.
Yeah.
So I think if she wants to kind of start out, definitely have her look into pharma.
All right. Yeah. I'll write that down. What So what's the one you're doing the most of right now? Are you doing like the stills? You doing video, or is it combo?
Yeah, so like right now, because of everything, I've been doing more of like digital asset stuff and
Right.
like basically I've been seeing more like CGI projects
Yeah.
come down the line, not so much shoots. I mean, I think the shoots that they have had were just super small,
Mhm.
and yeah, I've been seeing more CGI projects really.
Oh yeah, I believe it. Yeah, the shoots I've had have been tiny,
Very
or
tiny.
yeah, and everybody's
Yeah, like
staying
a
masked
legit
up and
skeleton
away.
crew.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It's very, very small, but you know what? I'll take it right now. I'll take whatever, whatever
Totally.
is coming my way for sure.
Yeah.
How'd the makeup artist thing start?
So I always wanted to be a makeup artist ever since
Yeah.
I was like a teenager. So I used to experiment all the time. And I went to makeup school. So I went to two different schools. I went to Chic Studios and I went to Makeup Designer in New York. And I learned how to do like kind of runway editorial, like special effects and stuff like that.
Wow.
But I was practicing way before then. And I
On your
was
friends or on yourself?
on myself. So I
Wow. Okay.
I was doing it entirely on myself, kind of wanting to do that whole YouTube video thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And but I felt like I just wasn't good at like speaking in front of a camera like that. So
Mhm.
I just I ended up going to school and I ended up getting a lot of jobs with different makeup brands like Lancome and Sephora, and I was doing, and then I ended up doing like some stuff for Fashion Week too,
Oh, that's cool.
and some editorial shoots. But I felt like I didn't love the environment there.
Yeah.
Um, it's kind of, I mean, it was super fast paced, which I don't mind at all. But I think just the people that I was working around and kind of, I just felt like I wasn't being challenged enough.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's when I got into doing makeup for funerals, actually.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how'd the whole funeral thing? Okay, so on your LinkedIn page, it still says you're doing funeral stuff. Is that true?
So it does. Was doing it up until COVID.
Okay.
So up until last March, I was still freelancing. And my agency knew that when they hired me. I was like, hey, I still like freelance, doing makeup, but it's not something that would interrupt my job.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, so I stopped doing it last year because the risk factor. Me and my dad are very close and I see him all the time, so I didn't want to put him at risk, and then I
Yeah.
didn't want to put myself at risk because I have asthma and a heart condition. So I was like, yeah, maybe let me just like
Yeah.
put this on pause for a minute. But definitely once things get better, I'm totally going to be on call for that again, because I do miss doing it, and I miss my boss and stuff like that. So, but I got into it because I did my grandma's makeup for her funeral when I was very young.
Okay. How old were you for
Yeah,
that?
I was 18.
Really?
Yeah, and she wanted me to do it.
Okay.
So, and the thing was, is
Did you do her makeup while she was alive?
I did, yes.
Okay. I'll say, or she just like, when I die, I'm gonna trust you. You do it.
Yeah, yeah. And my other grandma, who's still alive in her 90s right now, she literally says the same thing. Italians are very open about the whole death thing, and
Yeah.
they're like, no, we have to plan this right away. Like, so you're in charge of this.
All right.
But yeah, so I ended up doing her makeup, and that was like the hardest thing I ever had to do,
That.
because she was like my mom. She raised me,
Oh
and
wow.
I spent every day with her after school and just all my time with her. So it was hard, but I figured, like, if I could do this, I could do this for strangers and make way more money than I'm making doing shoots and
Yeah.
other like makeup brand jobs. So I was like, why not? And the weird thing about it, though, is that having usually the mortuary, the embalmer will do the makeup and embalm at the same time. So it's very rare that funeral parlors will hire a makeup artist solely for that. And the reason why I got in was because the funeral parlor that had where my grandmother was, they were close friends with my family, and they saw how much I enjoyed doing it, and they were kind of like, you know what, like, yeah, let's hire you. And beforehand, they were kind of using somebody. It's usually always, I mean, with these kind of old funeral homes, they always use somebody just in the neighborhood that's like, yeah, I'll do the hair and makeup. And it's always usually this old lady or this old man that doesn't care and is like so cool with doing it. But yeah, they saw that I had an interest in it and they were like, yeah, let's go from there.
Was there a big learning curve on that from like doing alive people to doing your grandma and doing the dead people? I mean, because I would think like the skin, the color, the way everything would be different. Oh, I also want to know, are there legit contacts with like little things on them that keep your eyelids open? Somebody said that the other day. I don't know how. Okay, you know, on sets you talk about the weirdest crap that comes up.
Yes.
Somebody said, you know, when you die, they put these contacts in your eyes and they have these things that stick out that keep your eyelids from falling down. So
yeah, so that's a thing.
okay, all right. So they weren't lying.
Yeah, they were not lying. They also kind of like, I've also seen them kind of glue the eyelid shut so that doesn't happen during a viewing.
They're not laying there all of a sudden, boom,
yeah.
eyes pop open. Yeah, that would scare the hell out of somebody, I would think.
Oh, 100%. Because the normal person doesn't know that, you know, the body can move from gases or nerves and twitches and stuff like that. So people, that just prevents a lot of, you know, heartache. But yeah, so it was definitely a learning curve. And which is why I got into it in the first place, was because it was definitely a challenge. There's different makeup that I have to use. So I do use regular makeup, but I kind of go in with that after I use mortuary makeup. And the mortuary makeup is created to react to the coldness of the skin, whereas our makeup is to react to the warmth of our skin. So if you put makeup that I would normally use on a body prior to putting like a base, it will just kind of like fall off. It's the strangest thing.
Oh, wow.
It like legit just slips off.
When did you figure that out with your grandmother, or did you figure that out? Did somebody tell you that ahead of time? Don't use it?
No, they definitely told me ahead of time. They were like, yeah, we usually go in with this. And I was like, okay, like I could do this. And I think I learned really quickly because I would do like special effects makeup. So I was I mean, I would create bruises and here I would have to cover them up and stuff. So, but it was definitely interesting to learn how to use it. And after I would fix discoloration, then I would just kind of go in with regular makeup. So, yeah.
What's the most difficult thing you've had to cover up?
I've been pretty lucky. So I normally get like older people who died of old age or they were in the hospital. So I would have to cover like bruises from IVs and stuff like that. Probably the most difficult thing was I've had to create a nose for somebody, like basically like a prosthetic nose. I think because I don't know what they had. I don't know what they had, if it was like cancer or like diabetes or something like that. But like and people are crazy. They will be like, oh, we want an open casket. And you're just kind of like, oh, okay. Like we'll make this happen. But so that was
I would have gone and bought those glasses with the nose and the mustache on it, took the nose off and slapped it on.
Oh my God. I can't even imagine. Another weird request I've gotten is someone wanted me, I mean, normally when you do makeup like this, you don't want it to be, there's just certain rules. Like you don't put like frosty lip gloss on anybody because it just doesn't look right. But someone wanted me to do I think it was their mother that passed away, and they were like, we want you to go all out, do like dramatic eye makeup. I'm like, oh my God. And they show me pictures of her, and that's usually what they do is I sit down with them and I kind of, talk to them about what the person was like. I see photos. And they showed me a photo of this woman. She was wearing such dramatic eyelashes and eyeliner. And they were like, we want you to do that. And I was like, okay. So I had to basically do it in a way that pleased them, but also didn't make her look absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
So I would, a number of times I've used, and this was for other clients as well, I would use just fake eyelashes, legit from Rite Aid, and just kind of take a tweezer and do them. I would do them individually.
Really?
For the body, yeah. And it looked really natural. And I did do the eyeliner on her, and they loved it. It was so great. I know it was so good, but it was so crazy because I never got that request before. Usually people are just like, yeah, soft stuff, please.
All right. How'd you build this nose? What was that? What'd you build that? Was that like clay or something, or what'd you do?
Yeah, it was basically like clay and latex. Okay. So it's similar. It's really basically similar to how you do it for, like if you're doing special effects, like legit for Halloween, only like better than that.
Well, thank God they had you doing it, because I can't imagine grandma down the street could have come in there and built a nose.
Oh my God. I know.
Yeah, it'd been like me. Like I said, you take them the nose off the glasses and slapped it on their face. Like, here you go.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that would definitely be funny.
Well, thank God for you on that one. Does it ever get creepy in there?
It's so funny. People think that's like the first thing that they ask me. They're like, aren't you scared or aren't you creeped out? And I have to say, the day before I started doing it for strangers, I was so nervous. I don't know why, because obviously my grandma is my grandma, but doing it on someone I don't know, I was a ball of nerves. And I am very surprised how quickly I relax, because the environment, my boss, she was so down to earth, and her kids were like running around while I was doing work. So I was like, I'm relaxed. This is fine. Everything's fine. And I liked that about it, because I think, as kids and in most cultures, death is something not spoken about, where to the point where, people get scared about it, and people get nervous about it, and people see a body and they're like, oh my God. And I remember even as a kid, going to funerals, I was like, ooh, like I'm nervous. This is weird. Yeah. They're not moving. And it's because I think, it wasn't spoken about a lot. And I think that's why I really admired my boss, and just that her family and her environment, because she taught her kids that this is a normal part of life. And it just kind of made me feel more at ease when I started doing it.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah. That's why I want to be cremated, because I don't trust anybody to make me look normal.
Honestly, same. Yeah. I only trust myself, and I've been the only person.
Horrific ones.
Yeah. Oh, same. I mean, that's another reason I did, is because a lot of close people to me have passed away, and they did not make them up correctly. And in those cases, it was really traumatizing for me as a kid to see that. So I think that, that was another reason I did it, where I was like, I kind of want it to be in control of it. If this is something that I can help and change for families, to give them like a nice last image of their loved one, like it's also super rewarding, I think.
Oh, I would think. Yeah. Especially if you do it well. Yeah, which I'm guessing you do, because like I said, I've seen some and you just look at them and go, I don't even know who that is.
Yeah, exactly. It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, I'm impressed that you can do it, and that you take the time, and the individual lashes and all that, because I can see a lot of people just here, slap it on there and move on. And
oh yeah, exactly. And I wear a mask and all that stuff, because the formaldehyde and stuff. But it takes I think to do everything, it takes maybe about like an hour and a half. I would say. Yeah.
So when your dad got you the job, what's your dad do? Or helped
So
you,
he
told you about it?
worked in comm studio, actually. That was towards like the end of his career before he retired, but he was a studio manager, and before that he was a creative director,
Okay.
and he used to work for Gray Healthcare.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. So it's kind of in the family,
Yeah, in the
obviously.
family, yeah. So but then then after he retired, he kind of freelanced, and he was freelancing for H&S, and then after that he was just kind of like uh he just was kind of like, yeah, I think I'm done.
Yeah.
And also the company moves to Jersey City, his department that he was working for, and he's like, I'm not going there.
Yeah.
So that was that.
All right. So what was your house like growing up with your dad as a creative director and all that,
I
your manager?
never saw him.
Really?
I would see, I mean, on weekends, yeah, but I remember distinctly that he would come home at like 2 in the morning, 1,
Yeah.
2 in the morning. Um, and there was, always some pitch, always something that he had to stay late for. Um, but what I would spend a lot of time at his job, and that was one of my favorite parts of growing up, was he would, even if he had a late night or, after school I wanted to go there, he would take me into his job all the time, and I would enjoy it. I would sit with like some of the sketch artists and like the freelance illustrators,
Yeah.
and it's crazy how they basically like babysat me the entire time, but I was just sitting there drawing the whole time, and they were like showing me stuff and like introducing me to all these mediums, and I loved I loved the environment, and I always loved the advertising environment because it just always seemed like one big family
Yeah.
when I was there. And his office was like a gold mine for a child. He had a fish tank. He had like 2 fish tanks.
Really?
Yeah, he had all these crazy knickknacks everywhere, which are now in our house.
Okay.
But his office was very cool. So I was always distracted for hours.
Damn. Yeah,
Yeah,
that sounds very cool.
it
So
was
I'm
really,
guessing
really
that's where you
fun.
got the whole artist thing from.
Yeah, I just spent so much time there, and I guess I kind of just, fell into his footsteps. And he loved drawing, he loved painting. So yeah, it just kind of happened.
Yeah. So all your stuff on your website is really cool. I
Thank
see. Yeah,
you.
I'm impressed with all of that. How's the resin? Is that what it is? Stuff you're doing?
Yes.
How's that going?
So I started that during quarantine because I was like, I'm bored and I need another
Yeah.
medium to kind of explore. And I've been to a number of art shows, and I've been in some art shows, and I've seen people do resin art. And I was like, this is so interesting. Like, I want to know more about it. I want to learn it. So I ordered all the stuff, and it's not an inexpensive hobby. So I was really nervous at first. But I basically taught myself entirely on YouTube.
Really?
Yeah, I watched tons and tons, hours and hours of YouTube videos. And I remember at first being so frustrated about it because it just wasn't working as I had planned. And I feel like I'm definitely a perfectionist, and I just expect myself to be good at something right off the
Right.
bat. So when it wasn't working, I was like, you know what? Let me slow up a minute, realize that this is normal, and
Yeah.
I just have to keep working on it. And I started it maybe August over the summer, and
Okay.
now I'm like selling it, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Um, and I kind of like spent all my time doing it, and learning how to do it is difficult because resin itself is so finicky to work with, and the temperatures need to be right. And
Yeah. How do you do it? What exactly is it?
so if you've ever seen coatings on like countertops
Yeah.
and stuff, what they do is they seal it with epoxy resin.
Hmm.
Um, and they use it for like a number of wood projects, a number for like kitchen finishings and things like that. But people make art with it. And there's actually they've developed, there's some epoxies that are specifically for countertops, and then they've developed some epoxies that are specifically for art making.
Okay.
But it is toxic. Even the art ones, like I do wear a respirator and all that, and gloves and all that
Wow.
stuff. But essentially you mix like a 1-to-1 ratio. They give you the epoxy itself, and then they give you a hardener, and you're supposed to mix equal amounts, or there's some other ones that you just have to kind of like measure. It's not a 1-to-1 ratio, it's a different one, but you mix it together, and you do what you if it's artwork, you can put pigment in it, and then you pour it into molds, so you can make coasters, or you can make dishes.
Wow.
Or if you want to make artwork, you can even put it on some wood. My cousin, he makes cutting boards, and he makes a number of wood projects, and I've seen a lot of people take a cutting board and kind of pour resin on it to create like this really cool art effect by the handle.
Oh, wow.
And then essentially, once you pour it, you have to get bubbles out. So I use like a heat gun. And then you wait for it to cure, and it cures in about 24 hours, depending on the resin. And when it cures like glass.
Yeah. Wow.
Really, really cool.
Yeah. It looks
I
very
remember,
cool.
yeah, I remember first working with it. I was amazed because I've never done something like that before. And the way it looks, the after effect, I was like, oh shit, this is awesome.
How long do you have to work with it before it gets to a point where it's just setting
Yeah.
up too much to work with?
It depends on the brand,
Yeah.
and it depends on the type. But the art ones, the ones specifically for art, you basically have about an hour working time.
Okay.
For ones like countertops and things like that, it's usually maybe about a half an hour to 40 minutes work time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I was wondering, I've never used it, but I had some Bondo, and you have to put a hardener in with that.
Oh my
And that
gosh,
stuff,
yeah.
I mean, you literally have about 30 seconds.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. And when I started doing that, I was like so nervous, because I was like, oh my God, it's like a race against the clock here. What if it sucks? What if I hate it?
Yeah.
So, I mean, definitely tons of projects that I didn't like, and it was all about practice, but it's been so fun.
Yeah, it looks
Um,
cool. Yeah.
yeah.
And the fact that you can sell it now, even better.
I was posting it on my Instagram, and it really took off. Maria loves it. She was like,
Yeah.
oh my God, this stuff is awesome. She's like, what else are you making? And so now I'm brainstorming about that.
I bet.
I want to invest in a, I don't know if you've heard of it, like a Cricut machine.
Uh,
It's like a cutting machine or silhouette.
okay.
I forgot what the other one's called, but basically you can make transfer stickers, you can make your own stickers, you can do like laminating.
Really?
So my whole goal is to like fuse my designs on like physical pieces. So I
Oh,
was thinking
wow.
of making transfer stickers, and then if I make a coaster, I kind of put my design on there and then just peel it off, and there it is. It should be pretty cool.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that would be another learning curve eventually.
Yeah. Then you could go buy the skulls and then put your stickers on your
Yeah.
artwork on the skulls and then sell the skulls.
Yes. Oh my God. We're
Yeah.
brainstorming here. I love it.
All kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Killer. Next thing you know, there'll be some skull in somebody's bedroom hanging over their bed with your
Oh my
artwork
God.
on it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love this.
All right. I want to know about, what is a day in the life of a producer like pre-COVID? I mean, on a good day, not a boring day.
On a good day.
Yeah, not on a day when you come into the office, you go, all right, well, not much going on today. I guess I'll try and look busy. I want to know, like, on a busy day.
Yeah, because so sometimes it can be like just communicating with vendors, and you're like, oh, I'm bored.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
But so when I produced, it was a really busy, typical day is just kind of lots of client meetings about changes constantly. So
right.
if we were talking to the photographer's production team and the client didn't like something, it was just basically a ton of meetings surrounded by that. Essentially, we would create timelines. We would do a lot of preliminary searches to make sure that concept is not already out there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know that part.
Yeah, which takes up some time because, we have to handle all like copyright stuff.
Right.
So we would do preliminary searches, lots of calls with the client to make sure everybody's aligned, planning for props. And it's just a lot of communication with the vendors and just making sure that we're abiding by timelines.
Yeah.
Which is why I definitely feel like, your daughter, if she wanted to get into it, that would be a good start, because it's not so much pressure. It's pressure, but it's not as much as like if she was doing something like for television or if she was on the photographer side. Like I feel personally that a photographer's producer has so much more responsibility, because they have to get in contact with prop and stylists and wardrobe and all that stuff, and the models. And then, we would attend castings too, which is fun and interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They definitely can be.
Yeah. You're laughing. You know exactly what I mean.
Yeah. What's, I don't even know what I was going to ask about with castings. But yeah. What's like the weirdest casting you've had for anything?
So I definitely have one in mind. We did a shoot I was helping with a shoot on Truvada for Gilead. And I think what they wanted to do was they wanted to show, it was for prep, and they wanted to show, straight couples, gay couples embracing. And one of the campaign photos was them playing like footsie, like their feet were intertwined or their hands are intertwined or they were like in an embrace. But the feet thing was one of the photos. And I think the line was like, let me see if I can remember. It was like, if this is going to another level, protection should too. And for the casting, we had to make sure we sat in a room, I'm not kidding, for like 2-3 hours judging people's feet. Like, yeah. And
I was just go in. They walk in the room and all right, take your shoes off.
So it was kind of like it was the after effect. So like we attended the casting, but then like we wanted, they took pictures of people's feet, and then they like kind of sent us the ones that everybody liked after the fact. So we all like kind of sat in a room, me, the art director, and the other producer that was on it. And we were kind of like, ooh, how do we feel about this person's feet? Like, and I'm not kidding. It went on for 2 or 3 hours, and I do not like feet. So for me to sit there and like kind of look at all these people's feet that I don't know, I was definitely sweating. I was definitely like, this is awful. But it was also hilarious because the individual teams that you work with they just make everything comical. So it was definitely an experience, and we did land on feet.
Okay.
So
Was there anybody who seemed a little too excited about this casting?
I pretended not to notice if there was. Yeah, definitely pretended not to notice, even if there was.
Yeah. I heard from somebody I know that they have a friend who I also know who is in college, and she is not my daughter, who is selling pictures of her feet to old dudes for like $50 a pop or something.
Oh, so I don't know if I can mention this, but I did do that once.
I would do it. I'll do it tomorrow.
Okay, so I did it once. One guy messaged me on Instagram and was like, I want a picture of your feet. And I named my price. And I was like, no face, nothing.
Right.
And I was like, $140. And he paid me.
Hell yes. Yeah, I'm with you. I would do it all day long. I will sell pictures.
And the funniest thing was I told my dad about it, and at first he was like, oh, Jen. And then he was like, you think they would buy my feet?
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? I feel like this is not off the table. Like we could totally try
Yeah,
this.
because there got to be some gay dudes who have a foot thing,
Oh, yeah.
buy guys' feet.
Honestly, you'd be surprised how many people who are into feet and they're just walking among us. We just have no idea.
Yeah, that's how I knew I was in love and I'd always said I don't want to be married. I don't want to get married. That's how I
Mm,
knew I'd found the person I wanted to marry when my wife was like, will you rub my feet? And I went, okay. And I didn't,
yeah.
because the girlfriend I'd had for years before, or anybody else, like, will you rub my feet? I'm like, no, I'm not touching
Yeah.
nasty feet.
No.
It's not going to happen. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, all right,
No,
I'll
there's
rub your
no
feet.
way.
Yeah. So that's when I was like,
That
God,
that is how
I must be in love.
honestly, that is how you know you're in love because I feel like that's my criteria too. Like if I'm suddenly comfortable rubbing someone's feet, I
Yeah.
I think I think that's a big step.
I think you're right. It was for
Yeah.
me. Yeah, it was huge. But then again, there's some people. There was some dude. There was a news story about some guy in a Walmart who was over in the shoe section and told some woman that he was a rep for whatever shoe company was made the
Ooh.
shoe she was looking at. And he said, if you would like, I'll help you with the shoes and make sure it's a proper fit. So she said, okay. And she sat down and he took the shoe, I guess took it off, and then immediately grabbed her foot and started sucking her toes.
That's assault.
Yes.
I hope she reported this to
Oh yeah, I think he
somebody.
got arrested.
Oh,
They
thank God.
arrested the dude.
Yeah,
But I
good.
was like, that's just, I mean, you walk into a Walmart just to suck toes. I mean, because all I'm thinking,
Honestly, Mark, a lot of strange things happen in Walmart.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I heard about this one guy who he picked up a watermelon and then like he fell and broke his hip and then he was able to sue them for millions of dollars. I'm like, I'm about to go in there and just, get an injury picking up a fruit.
Yeah. So he just picked it up and then fell because he picked up something too big for him
Yeah,
and
he slipped or something and
whatever.
then he made this. It was like that lawsuit with the woman with McDonald's
All with the
coffee.
coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
There's not
can't.
a big enough, warning on there. So I burnt myself and she claimed that she had like third-degree burns. I was like, I
Yeah.
don't know about that.
I'd
I
be
mean,
like,
McDonald's coffee's hot, but I don't know about third-degree burn hot.
still, I'd be like, hey, you're an adult. You know coffee's hot.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that should have been the whole defense. I think she knows coffee's hot. We
Exactly.
were we rest.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I
think it
don't.
was like she spilt it on her lap and she was like scorched or
Yeah,
something.
that's what she
I feel like
said.
these people are a little bit dramatic, but
Well, my dad used to own some restaurants a long time ago, and there was a woman who walked in the restaurant. As soon as she got into the door, she fell, she slipped, and hit the ground, and immediately sued.
wow.
They found out that this woman had done it to like 3 other restaurants in the same day. So they immediately threw the case out.
I feel like that would be something I would do.
Yeah. Yeah.
That
Oh
is
my God.
insane.
This woman, it's amazing. He said, you wouldn't believe it. He said they used to have little candles that would sit on the table in these glass little candle vases or whatever. He said
Yeah.
women would like take the things and stick them in their purse and take them home with them. Just take them right off the table and go
Oh,
home with
my
these things.
dad is like such a klepto like that. I don't know if it's an Italian thing. I've spoken to other friends of mine that are Italian, and they're like, yeah, my old relatives steal things from restaurants all the time. Like he's taken silverware and like napkins and stuff like that, and he'll put it in my purse. He'll put it in my purse, and I'm like, no, like, can you not do that?
Yeah, we were at a volleyball tournament with my daughter, and we were sitting there, and it was like a 3-day tournament or something. So my wife, we're sitting at the table with half the team at Fuddruckers, burgers or whatever. And
Yeah.
we said, I told her, I said, hey, don't forget, we need to go buy and get some paper towels before we head back to the hotel. And
Mhm.
one of our friends, they had these big rolls of paper towels on the table. She goes, here you go. And just took it and slapped it in her
Yeah.
purse. I'll give it to you when we get outside.
Yeah.
Like,
So
wow,
if
okay.
you ever wondered why we carry such big purses, that's why.
That's it. You know, back in the 90s, I think they had these pants that were really baggy and had these huge pockets on them. My theory was that was so all these teenagers could carry their babies in the pockets.
That is probably the funniest thing I've ever
I was like,
heard.
okay, I can just see that just walking, the baby hanging out there. Oh my God.
Oh, definitely what it was for.
Yeah, exactly.
Definitely.
When they decided.
I don't even know why it's up for discussion. That's
Yeah,
definitely the reason.
yeah, I know. Surprisingly, I never saw one, which I was disappointed in. I was just waiting to see the kid. It should have been an ad campaign.
They knew you were coming. They knew you were onto them.
Yeah, for all you
I think
pregnant
that's what it was.
16-year-olds, here you go. We got the pants for you. So when you got into producing, what was the first campaign that you did or client that you had that you did something and you were just like, this is really cool and you were excited about it?
I loved the Gilead shoot. That was like one of the first ones I did. And then I did another one for Januvia, diabetes drug for Merck. And it's what I realized was that Merck is probably the most boring brand ever. As in terms of creative freedom, like for art directors and producers, you really have to like abide so closely by what exactly they want.
Is that a legal thing or just their boring thing?
I think it's a mix of both. I do know that, you know, from a legal standpoint, they do have very, very strict guidelines when it comes to copyright and like, you know, usage information and things like that, because I have gotten like permission for them to use certain charts and figures, and they've, you know, even if they adapt it like completely different than what it is, they still want to cover themselves and get permission. So they're like,
do they own the copyright to the images? Do they want to own that? Like, say if I shot something for Merck, would they be like, yeah, we own the copyright on that kind of a thing?
No, not necessarily. So yeah, which is good. They're just really buttoned up in terms of like the usage. But one shoot that I did do for them, I went to Philly for it, and it was really fun. Because that's when I realized I enjoyed it, was because as buttoned up as they were, it was still a fun time. And it was kind of like a basic shoot where it was showing different patients and different occupations of each patient. So like, you know, one was holding kind of like a mini dry erase board, and she was supposed to be a teacher. The other one was like a construction worker. So we had to get like construction cones, things like that. And one of the models wasn't fat enough because this is a diabetes drug. So they want everyone to kind of, you know, not be stick thin. So we ended up having to put extra like bubble wrap around his stomach.
I've done that before.
Yes. Which is it was great because we did maybe like 2 rounds of it. He'd put a shirt on. We're like, not fat enough. Like, I feel like he needs more girth to him. And so it was just a fun time no matter what. And even though the clients were buttoned up after that, they love to drink and eat and just let loose and have fun. And I think because they know how buttoned up the brand is, so they're like extra fun after the fact.
Like the Japanese. I've heard they're nuts. I heard when they party, they party.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah, I've heard that they're just like, you think they're all these proper, very proper people, but when they go to party, they let loose and they do shit that you're just like, wow, okay, did not see that coming.
Yeah, I actually went to like this, I don't know if you ever heard of Batsu. I think it's Japanese, if I'm not mistaken. I will have to research that, but I think it's Japanese. And it was like this whole experience. They sat you at a table, you had sushi, and it was like this whole kind of acting improv game show thing where they would call people from the audience to participate, and they would have them do ridiculous things, kind of like eat sushi off a guy that you don't even know. And then like the audience would have to like yell Batsu, like to egg them on to do it. It was just like this crazy thing. And I loved it. I went for a friend's birthday. It was in Manhattan.
Okay.
I can't remember the exact place, but if you ever want to go when things open up, definitely let me know, because
All right. Yeah.
I'll find out the name, because it was awesome.
Yeah.
It
I would
was so
love to
much
check that
fun.
out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it
And
was a whole improv thing.
it was
So
definitely
cool.
Japanese. And I'm going to say because
Definitely.
you had sushi. And
Yes.
the other night we called a Chinese place that we had never eaten there before, but we saw a menu and they had Chinese food, but they also had sushi on this menu.
Yeah.
Evidently, it was not their menu because I called and asked for like 2 rolls and then this other thing. He goes, we're Chinese. That's Japanese. We don't have sushi here. And I was like, well, it's on your. He says, that's a bad menu. That's not
A
ours.
bad
I'm
menu.
like,
Which, you know what's funny about that? I do see that on, like, if I order Seamless all the time. There's actually a lot of Asian restaurants that fuse both. Like
yeah.
they'll fuse Chinese food, Japanese food. They'll even have some Thai dishes.
Yeah, this was Chinese and Thai. But
Yeah.
so when I saw sushi, I was like, well, maybe they're just doing all 3. But
Yeah. Why
no.
not?
Yeah. I mean, he was like, no. He was like, no, don't even
No,
try it.
forbidden,
Yeah.
never.
Yeah, we don't do sushi.
Yeah. Preposterous. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was in a grocery store. The place, it's the
Oh,
restaurant in the
okay.
grocery store. You can't eat there. It's just takeout. It's actually really good. But
Yeah.
I guess the grocery store also makes sushi. So I guess you could get the sushi from there, which that sushi's kind of
You ever try making it yourself?
no.
I did it. It's so fun.
Is it?
Yes.
How was
If
it?
you,
Did it taste
it was,
good?
honestly, it was really good. I was pleasantly surprised. I just went to a Chinese market in Bay Ridge and I bought like the eel already marinated. So I was trying to make my own dragon rolls.
Okay.
I brought the eel already marinated. And then if you ever seen like those little bamboo roll up things,
Yeah.
yeah. So I got the rice paper and, made the rice. And then I just like filled it into that little bamboo thing. And you put all the ingredients, you line it up. And then I just rolled it and then I cut it at the end. And I was like, all right, it's not as perfect as when I, go out to eat, but it tastes the same. And it was fun. Like, definitely, if there is a Chinese market by you, definitely try it.
Yeah, I don't know
It's
if they're
cool.
very many. I need to look because I don't know of any Chinese markets, but I live in the South.
Where do you live?
I live in Charlotte,
Okay.
North Carolina. I'm in the
Nice.
South.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. You
It
don't have to worry about
depends.
snow right now.
Yeah, I would like to have some snow a little bit, not
Really?
like you have. I don't want the
No,
kind
not
you
like
have.
us. Not like
I don't like going to New York in the winter because
I don't blame you.
every time I'm there, I'm always in Manhattan.
Yeah.
Occasionally where I'm outside of Manhattan shooting something, but usually in Manhattan. And it's one of those when you walk around the corner and that wind comes and just slaps you in the face.
Oh,
I'm
it's
not a big
awful.
fan of Manhattan in the winter.
No, me neither. I mean, I I am a summer person, 100%.
Yeah, me
I
too.
just feel healthier in the summer. I feel just happier.
Yeah.
So I even have a countdown on my phone, and it's like we're 40 days until spring.
Well,
So
hot damn, I can't wait. Yeah, my wife starts saying I hate cold sometime in September. Usually, like late September, she'll start going, I hate cold. But I actually heard her say it in August last year, the year before last. I can't remember which, because it dropped down to like 60 something degrees in August
oh my
for one
god,
day. And she's like, I hate cold weather.
what is the coldest it gets there?
I don't know. It's something rarely, but occasionally you get it where it's maybe upper 30s, as a high.
Okay.
Usually in the 50s, low 50s. Like this time of
Okay.
year, it's probably low
Yeah.
50s, I think, is an average.
Nice.
Something like that. So not too bad. I mean,
Yeah.
if we're lucky, we get snow once, maybe twice a year at the most.
Yeah.
So there's not a lot.
We
So when we
actually
do get
here
it,
got way more snow than we got last year. I'm
yeah, I heard you
surprised.
guys got more like in this past week or whatever than you had in like the
Then
last 5 years or something.
yeah, like this uh the snow warning was like the second one that we had, I think, like maybe last week or the week before we got snow.
Yeah.
And then yeah, this week we got snow, and it was, I don't know how much it was, but it looked like at least a foot, I feel like.
Yeah. And you
It's
got
just
more coming.
everywhere.
Supposedly there's
Oh
another
no, do
storm
we?
coming.
Oh. My heart
I think
sank.
maybe, yeah.
Why have to deliver this bad news?
Because it was the chick who does the weather on Good Morning America. She was talking about
uh,
Minneapolis, and she was like, "If you think you're about to thaw out, you're not." And
oh no.
everything was there. She was showing snow up there today or yesterday, and it
I
was
got
heading
excited
that
because
way.
my weather app said that it was going to be like in the 40s this week. So I was like, okay,
You know it's
I
bad
can
when you
work
get
with it.
excited about it being in the 40s.
You're so right. You're so right.
That's oh
The
my
only
God.
time I get excited is if it's like if it hits 60, I'm like, yes, we're
Oh
good to
yeah.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're good. We're good. Home stretch.
If we're
But
hitting 60s in the summer, in
yeah,
the winter, I mean, I'm like, hell yeah, this is good.
this is great. Amazing.
And it's amazing how your body adjusts because in the winter, you're like, oh, hell, it's 65. This is amazing. This is warm. It's great. I'm going to put on my t-shirt and whatever and flip
Yeah,
flops. And it hits 65 in the summer. You're like, damn, this is cold. I need to go put on a jacket.
totally. Yeah.
I
And
used to
it's
live,
I
go ahead.
feel like in I feel like in New York, especially, the weather is so flip-floppy, especially during like right before, um, right around the fall area.
Yes.
It's like, okay, it's cold, and then December it's 75, and we're all confused.
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I get it. And you can't get adjusted to it in
No,
that time. So everything
never.
is just because I used to live I went to school up in the mountains. And so you'd
Oh,
go up there
okay.
and I didn't want to go to school. I just wanted to go skiing. So I was told I had to go to school. So I went and I would come from the mountains down into Charlotte and everybody's like, oh, it's so cold. I'm like, this is great down here. This isn't bad at all. But you stay home for like 3 months and all of a sudden you're like, hell yeah, it's cold down here now, like everybody else. So
Yeah,
trip how you
definitely.
adjust to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not coming. I go to New York in the winter when I'm getting paid for it. That's
Oh,
about it.
yeah.
Other than
That
that,
makes sense.
I'm going to try and go. If I'm going for meetings in the winter, I'm going to LA or Miami.
Yes.
Like,
Stay
you
in the
got
warm.
meetings. I'm going where it's warm.
I was actually thinking about, buying some type of property somewhere warm, like
Yeah, you
in the
should.
Carolinas or Florida or somewhere, because now that we're, primarily working from home, I'm like, I might take advantage of this and just be somewhere warm.
Yeah.
So definitely on my to-do list to
Yeah, my
look into.
brother just bought a little cabin up in the mountains and near a little lake or a river or something. And he was like, I'm gonna come up here. He's got a lot, he's an architect, so he likes to buy
Hmm.
these houses that need a lot of work. So he's like,
Nice.
I'm working remote right now, so I'm just gonna come up there and just spend a week or two up there and work on the house and do what I have to do remotely, and then I'll get on it.
That's
So,
awesome.
how do you like working remote?
I love
Yeah,
it. Like, I mean, I do miss. I taught classes for my job too, and I still teach them.
really?
It's a copyright class, like a Know Your Right. It's called Know Your Rights, and it's all about copyright and copyright infringement and kind of how our department works with accounts and art, and how we, timelines for vendors and things like that. So I was doing those classes in person, and I really do miss doing them in person because I miss going into the city office, and I miss, seeing people there.
Yeah,
The only thing I don't miss is having to go to Jersey because it was kind of like pointless for us to go there.
yeah.
And it was a huge commute. So in that respect, I am really happy that I feel super fortunate that I got to, work from home. And yeah, I like it because now I have kind of time to work on my other business, and I feel like I'm more productive in a sense.
I've heard that too from other
Yeah,
people at other ad agencies saying that they have been more productive. Like 2020 was a more productive year, even with
it was
everybody at home.
definitely yeah, it was definitely a more productive year. And then like you're cutting out the commute time too,
Hmm.
and especially if projects are going late, you don't have to stay. You're
Yeah,
just you're just home already.
right. You're
It's
already
great.
home, so that's good.
Yeah, you're
Okay,
already
do
home.
you wear actual pants when you're doing your Zoom call, or are you like in like sweats or
Oh,
shorts?
I'm definitely in sweats.
Yeah,
Definitely. Yeah. No
yeah.
doubt about it. I know some people that get like dressed up to do their Zoom calls and to do their work, but I feel like um in our business you don't really need to do that.
Yeah. Like my first meeting, I think it was the first meeting my wife knew I was going to after we got married. I was like, I'm going to go meet this ad agency. And I was wearing, I don't know, probably something similar to what I have on now, maybe a button down with a collar or something. But she was like, and jeans. And she's like, what are you doing? I'm going to a meeting. She goes, you can't go to a meeting like that. You need to get dressed up. I'm like, no, I don't. Like, not for this. And it's true, because even if you get a little, half the time, even if I put on like a button down with a collar and I look a little better, I show up and the people I'm meeting with are in like t-shirts. So I don't know that it makes a difference. But yeah, she was
like day to day. Yeah, day to day at the agency, I would just like, come in and like literally like workout clothes. I'm not kidding. If I had a meeting or I was meeting with a vendor, I would get dressed up. But it wasn't a situation where I'm like, oh my God, I have to wear dress pants, because it's advertising. Everyone's mostly in jeans and like, just chilling out. It's like a creative environment. So you don't really feel the need. You don't have to do that.
Yeah, there's a reason I'm doing this, not some job I have to wear a suit. Because I hate wearing suits.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what my wife says she loves. Like she said, 2020 was the best year for her because she got to work from home and she got to wear like her yoga pants every day.
What does your wife do?
She is the COO of an outpatient rehab center for drug and alcohol abuse.
Wow.
So she has meetings every day with her team.
Yeah, and she has to.
She would put on whatever from the waist up. And then she would have her yoga pants on or sweatpants waist down.
Yeah.
She bought me these, what am I wearing now? Just Tommy John pants. So they make underwear. And that's where but somebody she follows on TikTok said they got her husband some Tommy John like joggers or something. And when I got them, I put them on. I was like, you can see through. Like I was looking at them before I put them on. I was like, these things are so thin, you can see straight through them. I'm not going to wear these. You have to send them back. I was like, I'll go try them on. So I tried them on, and you can't actually see through them, thank God. But they're so comfortable. I'm like, all right, that's it. I'm done. I'm just wearing this all day long from now on.
I love how she saw that from a TikTok video. Yeah, I love it.
She is watching hours.
Oh my God. I am on TikTok all the time. Don't download it, because if you download it, it's an addiction. And at first, you remember Vine, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I liked Vine. And then when TikTok happened, I was like, oh, this is just a knockoff of Vine. And, I was being like so bitter about it. Yeah. But then my friend was like, no, you got to get on there because this stuff is hilarious. So I got on there and I was like, wait, I love this. So I started making TikToks and like I went viral.
Really?
And it was to me, not that it was dumb, but it was like, it's crazy how so many people are interested in things that are normal to you.
Your feet.
No, you would think so. But I ripped up this old linoleum in my hallway, and my house is a brownstone and it was built in like the 1800s.
Oh, nice.
So my family has, it's been in my family for generations and stuff. And when they put the linoleum down beforehand, they put these old newspapers down underneath.
Oh, wow.
So when I ripped them up, the newspapers were still there. And some of them were from, they were Italian newspapers. And then there was English newspapers too. And one of them showed this new car that they were advertising for a whopping $1,500.
Damn.
Yeah. And I put it on TikTok because I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. Maybe people will enjoy it. It got like over 500,000 views.
Really?
Yes. It was crazy. And the back of my dad's head was in it. And he was like, I'm famous now. I'm like, no, but you could be.
Wow.
Yeah. It was so, so cool. So I was definitely having like a 5-minute fame.
How close have you come to that many views since then?
Then I went viral again but it was 30,000 views. But I haven't been keeping up with it. So I might see if I can like do some resin stuff on there and like show the process. Maybe that'll go viral. But most of what I was showing was just like cool things around my house and just like funny stuff. So, but it was definitely fun.
Yeah, my daughters love it. They're
Oh
constantly. I
yeah.
look in the kitchen. They're constantly making when they're both home. They're both making their TikToks. My youngest will sit there and you see in the kitchen doing like something like this before she like opens the refrigerator.
Yes, yes. Oh my God, the dances I would never do. I'm pushing 30. I'm not doing dance.
I'm
Like
pushing through. My God, you're so old.
there's just no, because I'm seeing all these like 16-year-olds and 17-year-olds in there, and I'm like, I'm not doing that. I'm a millennial. I'm
Well, that's
like
what
good
I
just
told my daughters. Like, okay, so they're both on there. So occasionally I'll open it up to see what they've done so I can like it. Because they're always like, did you see my TikTok? So I'll open TikTok and there's always some like 20-year-old girl in a bikini dancing. And I'm like, why is that the first thing I see every time I open my TikTok? And they go, I don't know, Daddy. They show you what you like.
they do.
And I was
They
like,
do. So you actually do set up, if you have the app, when you first set up, you have to set up like things you're interested in.
I
So
don't
I get
remember
the
setting
weirdest.
that for like 20-year-old hotties, but maybe I did. But I think it's because I just like my daughters and they're like 20 and 18. So
Yeah.
it's got to be it. I mean, like
Oh,
liking their
definitely.
stuff. And like, oh, he likes young girls. I'm like,
You're like, this is such a bad book for me.
makes me
I
feel
can't be
creepy.
associated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, my wife's watching it nonstop, like checking out. Well, I don't even know what they're talking about. Oh, she's got some Marin, the astrologist. She
Oh,
we
I
call her
get some of
the
that stuff on there too.
yeah, we call this chick the stripper astrologist because she looks like a stripper, but she's all into astrology and she knows
I
it
love
all.
it.
And she's constantly forwarding me stuff, going, "Hey, invest in Tesla because on the 11th it's going to go through the roof or something." Or here's what's
Yeah.
happening with the
I get a lot of those like tarot readings. Is that what does she get those too?
I don't know if she's looking at those or not. If I tell her, I'm sure she will know.
I get the tarot readings on my feed a lot. I get a lot of animals.
Yeah.
A lot of animals doing cute stuff. What else do I get? Just a number of weird things.
Yeah, I just get the 20-year-olds in the bikinis dancing. So I think I'm gonna do it like I did to
See, this is why my dad can't get a TikTok.
yeah, like
I'm
Facebook.
pretty sure.
Well, maybe he like it. He might be all right. Hey, here's
Well, I do show him videos of I show him like travel videos and animal ones, and he's like, he loves it. He's like, you could sit and watch this for hours. I'm like, yeah, that's what I do.
Yeah.
It's awful.
I know.
I actually have to set a limit.
Yeah, I think there's something supposedly you can set a limit. There's some app or whatever you can use to help you
I set it right on my iPhone, like the screen time thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm just like, please put a limit on Instagram and TikTok, please.
Yeah.
Because otherwise I'll just endlessly scroll and no, it's just not a good.
You never leave. You
Never
get out
leave.
there. I'm going to do it like I did Facebook, which I'm hardly ever on Facebook, but
Yeah.
they were giving me all these political things for a while. So I went and just started liking all these behind the scene cruise stories on movies and just like 15 or 20 of them in a row. And now that's 90% of my feed. So I'm thinking if I do that on TikTok, then I can just go look at my daughter's stuff and then get that kind of stuff on TikTok.
Yeah, I get a lot of political stuff on TikTok too. And then, yeah, if you do that on Facebook and Instagram, like with your Explore page, it'll just realign and show you like a different algorithm for things that you're starting to like that's different. I know when I started resin stuff, I was starting to like maybe like 2 resin videos, and then they just started showing up on my Explore page.
Yeah,
so
it's cool, but it's a little annoying, especially like I guess with the politics stuff, where it's only. That's why I think everybody's dividing so much because it's only what you want to see. So
did you in regards to that, you should definitely watch The Social Dilemma on Netflix.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. So yeah, it's like they basically cater these posts specifically to people and then don't show, other posts. They just show you like a small view of what they think you'll like. So that was really like an eye-opening documentary and really
when I saw that and I saw how into it they are and how detailed they can get on it. It's like
and how controlling it is.
Yeah. Yeah. My wife was talking about her dad and some of his political views during the election. Mm-hmm. And I was like, well, look at what he watches. He has no social media, no Instagram or whatever, but he watches only like a certain news show every single day or channel. And he only watches like the certain Christian network 700 Club or whatever he watches every day. So he's fed the same thing over and over and over again.
I have the same problem with my family. Like they're only seeing a small window of, you know, what, and they're watching the same network all the time. And it's like, you know, you need to broaden your horizons in order to see things from other people's point of view. And that doesn't happen.
Yeah, unfortunately, not anymore. Okay. Yeah. We've hit a little over an hour. I'm going to ask you the last question.
Yes.
What's the strangest thing that's happened to you since you started? I'm going to go since you started doing makeup professionally. So between makeup, advertising, funeral home, all that stuff, what's the strangest thing that's happened to you?
The strangest, I mean, I would probably have to revert back to the feet thing, and like that was just so hard for me to swallow. And then definitely like just making a nose for somebody and doing really dramatic makeup when I shouldn't have been, but people requested that. So I would
nice
say
little, that interesting life.
Thank you.
It's good.
I would definitely call it interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. Which is good.
Yeah.
Sometimes I want to see your collection of bones at some point. You know, like, take some shots and send them this way. Or
absolutely. I would love to. Yeah, I could definitely take a couple photos of them. And yeah, I could send them your way to your email.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I'd just be interested in seeing your collection.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. Well, everybody watching, listening, thank you, first of all. Second, like it, thumbs up it, comment on it, subscribe to it, all that kind of stuff. We'll put a link to all of Jen's stuff so you can check her out as well. And thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
All right. I'll talk soon.